doesn't matter how long I've been teaching, the first day of school always makes me nervous. Hey teacher friends, welcome to Sutton Teaches Secondary. I am Miss Sutton, but you can call me MarQuitta. And it's the first week of school. Yes, it is the second day of school actually, but it's the first week. I got done with the first day of school. I was very nervous, but it's done. And welcome. I am Miss Sutton. You can call me MarQuitta. I wanted to come and share what I did on the first day of school because it went really well. And I wanted to kind of talk through my thinking and all of that good stuff because that's what we do, right, teacher friends? We share when things go well, we share when things go bad, we share. That way we learn from each other. Tell me also in the comments what you're doing on the first day of school, ideas you have for first week of school activities, all of that good stuff. Let's share, let's learn from each other. So I have to get my notebook, my handy dandy notebook, so I remember. Okay, so I decided, one, no syllabus. I teach high school, we all know that, I teach high school English, and I feel like one thing that always happens in high school classrooms on the first day of school is they go to 4 or 5 or 6 or however many classes, and every single class does the syllabus. And so they've been having wonderful summer, they've been having a wonderful summer, being free, playing on their phones, all that, being entertained, all that kind of stuff. And then they come to school and listen to someone talk to them every single period, the whole day. And that's torturous. So I was like, I'm not doing that to my students. So I wanted to do some things that were fun and interactive, but I also wanted them to be relevant to what we got going on. So even though it's not the syllabus, it's still related and it helps them get an idea of what is happening in this classroom. So first thing I did, when students walked in, they grabbed a computer and they started a survey. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you do surveys, like a student interest survey, get to know your students. Here's the thing, instead of having it paper pencil, I did it digital this year. And I love it. I am never going back to paper and pencil again. This is why. And I'll try to show it on the screen. I can't make any promises though. But it was so nice to have it digital. I used Google Forms because then I was able to see the data kind of aggregated. So like all the data together, I was able to see what it looked like and kind of analyze it in a more effective way versus looking through every single paper and all that kind of stuff. It also helps to be able to see some of the written responses just kind of in a row. Like one of the questions I asked was like a song you want to add to our class playlist. It was much easier than going through a bunch of papers to just have a list, and so now I can just kind of make the playlist from the list. Yeah, I love it. And Google has made a lot of updates to their forms, so they look a little cuter now. You can change the fonts to any of the Google fonts that you want. All kinds of little things that you can do. You can change the boldness, all kinds of things that you couldn't do before that now you can do when you're making a form. So I love it. I would strongly suggest making your student interest survey on a Google form or any other surveys you do after that. A couple of things first that I think are non-negotiables for first day of school. One, you have to introduce yourself. Sometimes people do like a slide. I didn't do a slide this year. I just said who I am, and then kind of informally we talked about summer. I told them I had a baby. We kind of informally talked a little bit about who we were, but you always have to introduce yourself first. Second, make sure you go over expectations. I don't call them rules, I call them expectations. I feel like that is more appropriate for high school students, especially because I teach seniors. So I go over expectations and consequences. That's number 2. And then the rest of the time was for icebreakers. Now, here's the thing. Within those icebreakers, I am teaching systems. So we don't just go head first and do a bunch of fun stuff without also me taking the time to explain, this is what I want you to do. This is what it should look like. When I count to 3, I need this. When I say go, this is what happens. So we move a little slow so that we can move faster later. So just note that. But it went well. So for my icebreakers, I did a little speed dating. I gave students cards, and which I talked about in a previous video. I'll link that video. It was a Target haul, but I've talked about it before, where I like to give students cards, like matching cards, and they have to find their match. So then it forces them to get up and meet someone new or talk to someone they wouldn't normally talk to as a partner. And then I switch the cards and I post questions on the board for them to talk about. And the questions range all the way from something simple like, what did you enjoy watching on TV or streaming this summer, to things a little more difficult like, what do you know about the content of the course? What are you looking forward to learning? And then everything in between. The last question that I asked students to fill in the blank, great teachers always. And then I did a whip around where everyone shared their answer out loud. So lots of talking, meeting new partners and socializing with them. They had to get up and move around, all that good stuff. So some ideas I have. I wrote down ideas. For example, if you are a science teacher, students are doing lots of experiments in your course, and so they might have to work in groups to do labs. So maybe you have them do a fun lab, or like an escape room, right? Like an escape room is technically like a lab, I think, right? Where they're working together to answer questions and figure things out, or follow step by step to finish with some kind of fun thing. Or maybe if you teach history, you could do the investigate the teacher, right? Like students have to find artifacts around the room, use those artifacts to draw conclusions about who you are. And then they have to present their findings and explain how those findings relate to the artifact. So that is it. Let me know in the comments what you're doing on the first day of school. Let me know if you like to do speed dating in your classroom, or if you have other ideas, because I want to hear what you got. And as always, you are amazing. Bye.